I am so blessed. Yes, we're so blessed.
Yes, people.
So blessed. Every day, so blessed.
Lots of you loving and feeling that one.
So
The great sounds and the great vibes each and every time you're locked into the Big Bad Station. With yours truly, DJ Kat, the Kat-a-lyst, and a very talented artist. She goes by the name of Indra. And of course, we are so blessed. Big shout out to everybody sending lots of love, lots of energy for that particular tune. Okay, and of course, the great artist joins us live and direct right here on the Big Bad Station. So of course, Indra, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Nice to speak to you. Nice to hear you. Okay. So let the listeners know, let the people know a little bit about yourself and who you are.
Singer, songwriter from Barbados.
Okay.
Yeah. And we've done a lot of vocals for a lot of different Caribbean artists or artists from the Caribbean. And most recently, as you were sharing, just released an album called Kingdom Call. I come from like an acoustic folk kind of background, but I've graduated to really joining the reggae family.
Wow. So you know what, sis, when it comes to music now, tell us something about your journey. How did it all begin for you?
Well, it always was. I literally always remember myself singing and writing. I used to write like little short stories and them kind of things and like poems and stuff. And then when I started just like tinkling with guitar, because my mom had a little one-string guitar, so I used to just like play it and start writing songs and stuff. It kind of was always in the atmosphere. I was always singing at school, singing with friends, harmonizing, doing the little, school competitions and stuff.
Yeah.
So I always knew that was my path.
Wow. And you mentioned as your introduction there about folk, and I wanted to know a little bit about that and kind of that journey, and how did you feel about it, and kind of how did you make that transition from that to reggae as you are now?
Well, I still am definitely in my acoustic roots, so I still write and sing acoustically, but usually because it's my life journey, so it might be acoustic, but it's not going to sound like American folk. It's not going to sound like any other kind of indie folk. It's going to sound and have my tropical touch.
Yeah.
I still chant and stuff when I'm playing the guitar, so it's still definitely a part of my walk. And it's usually, a lot of the time how some of my songs start. And because I grew up hearing my mom and seeing my mom playing it's like a 4-instrument. You ever heard of a quattro?
Yes, I have. Beautiful.
Okay, yeah, it's right. Because she's in a Trini Parang band, and so she used to play this 4-string guitar called a quattro. And then she had a regular guitar with a 1-string. So I always used to see her and then one of my aunts playing guitar, and that kind of, just like piqued my interest because of the tone and the sound of it. And then I just started dabbling in guitar, and so that's why it was, obviously I still sing a cappella, and I always used to just sing when you're living, but guitar just became home for me, and it helped me write a lot of songs too. So I still very much on that path.
Wow.
Just, slightly more narrow road now.
Yeah, I hear that 100%.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? We just played a beautiful track from yourself, and lots of the listeners are loving your vibe and your energy and kind of what you were speaking about. So I wanted to get to kind of ask you about that song, and where did it come from, and why was it called what it was called?
That's interesting, and never shared that one before. I actually wrote it, I feel like it's 2021, might be 2022, I can't really remember.
Yeah.
But when I was staying with friends in forest in Germany, and they were just playing guitar, and then sometimes I just get these cues spiritually that a song is coming, and songs could come from different heights, and this one was just real higher than high kind of thing. And so the words "so blessed" kept coming out, and I was just like floating with it. But then it wasn't until I got to England after that, it's just I kind of like put a little more body on it, words wise.
Okay.
And recorded it with Chris Chemist.
Wow, wow. Like I said, definitely people are feeling that one. But there's another tune that you have done that I like as well, and it's called Crying Out. And I wanted to know what that was about.
Well, Crying Out is, we get consumed with ourselves and life, or your friends, or your people around you, your village, your island, your country, or your town, or whatever.
Yeah.
But then, it's like there's still people, so many people who reject us, but they seem forgotten, not represented, oppressed, or too small to articulate what they're going through. So that's be on my mind a lot, especially when you hear like about homeless children and things. It's hard to compute, it's it's okay, that's a part of the world, but there's certain things it's very hard, to just not feel away. So sometimes I might not be in a certain position to do something, but one position the Father's blessed me with is to always be able to take my guitar, or just a melody or words just come out of my mouth and it becomes a song.
Wow.
So as usual, just one of these times, when I wrote it in lockdown, I was in Barbados at the time again, and I was, the reason why my sister on the phone, we were in lockdown. So it's these times where you had conversations more deep than them topical cream ones we have. And and in my mind, after I got off the phone, in my mind, this was a couple days after wake up call. I had written a wake up call, and I was just saying, they're telling everybody go home, stay home, and this and that. What about these infinite amount of homeless children? It's one thing for adults, and everybody's going home wherever home is, but so I just like I was just thinking, in an environment where you're like thinking about yourself, your immediate family, or your friends, and this is like that just blew my mind. Like, where did they go? And so as usual, sometimes you don't just want to leave pain. You have to give it a place and speak for who can't speak for themselves. So Crying Out, that's what really was the like real time inspiration, and for us not to forget as we go through, different things that we each go through in just life, that there's other, especially the little ones who can't articulate it, or just, just see people that kind of way, so everybody matters. So I really just ended up coming out and Crying Out.
Yeah, wow. And you know what, it's a very powerful tune. When I heard it, it really touched me. That's why I had to ask you like where it came from, and I feel like you touched on a very important topic. A lot of the time we kind of think about self, but it's so good to think about others as well and where they are in their journey. So I really appreciate that song, for real.
Oh, thanks for bringing it up.
No problem. Somebody's asked a question that I wanted to put to you, a listener. They're asking, you said that you coming into reggae, and they're asking, how are you finding it coming into reggae as you are from Barbados, which, usually is associated with a different genre of music. So they're asking, how are you finding that?
Well, I kind of used to challenges. Even coming from Barbados is known a lot for soca, and that's usually seasonal. So, but I was always playing guitar. A black woman with guitar is already something different, singing about certain topics that aren't popular to bring up. So I guess I kind of used to having to win against my face sometimes. But I have always slip up in life, and musically sometimes you're not as consistent, or you just get records where you're really having a fight, so I did along the way, misstep or whatever musically, but for the most part it's been message music and like uplifting music, socially conscious music. And so I always know reggae to be that, and we still got a bit of a reggae scene here too. Again, unfortunately is real academic, so the arts sometimes, there's like a niche, these little things, but it's not fully bloomed yet. But it's there. And because reggae always, to me, had that spiritual foundation, had that that essence of crying out. Either bringing people together with joy, regardless of background, where you look like, where you're from, that one love, and then also to discuss like injustices, solutions, and uncomfortable conversations, and people with more thing. And then it was more, and I hope still is more than a music. Reggae was always synonymous with a liberty,
Yeah.
So yeah, you make observations, things, it's like you come in and it's like, okay, this is a little bit different, but at the same time, you don't be defined by your environment.
100%.
So for me, exactly. So it's like, what does it mean to me? And look at the essence of what it is. And once I don't have to like conform the message to dummy something down or make it like bubble gum.
Yeah.
And it's wholesome and it's welcome, and people are really like welcome me in. I mean, it's not a newbie. I did, for like over 10 years, some reggae songs and stuff, but it's still a new step for me. So I'm grateful for the response.
100%. And I'm feeling the vibes and the energy, especially, like I said, the tunes that you've been putting out there. I feel like you're connecting with the audience on different topics. It's not just kind of just wishy-washy. They're real topics.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's really important, especially in reggae. But when it comes to yourself now and you're putting kind of music together, how do you go about it? Do you kind of freestyle it? Do you write it down? How does it work for you as an artist?
Yeah, it's different ways. I'm not really so much of a freestyler, although some songs were just like born on the spot. That's more just like, when, it's hard to describe that. It's kind of like a moment, that's higher than you, it's most high.
Yeah.
And then there's times, it's always the most high, but sometimes you're a part of the process kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then other times, I'm not really such a like full song freestyler, For me, it's just, I know that sometimes even in life, I don't always say the first thought is not always the best thought. So I think that kind of, it might sound good, it might rhyme, but it might not be the best thought.
Yeah.
So, maybe that little hesitation is what holds that back. But some songs do pour out like that, especially when the vibe is right and it's not forced. And then sometimes it might just be like a download that comes as a couple phrases, and I'll feel like, okay, let me just write that down, or put it in my notes or something. And then other times I will be like, I got a song called the walking song when I used to have to walk to a real dark campground to get home. It's just sometimes I have these little melodies and I don't have any words, and it's still a song.
Yeah.
And then other times I'm either playing on my guitar, sometimes somebody gives me a rhythm, and the rhythm kind of informs. And then now, like, I'm working on a project where somebody just give me some words, and it's the third time I had to do something like this, and I literally just have to come up with the melody or hear what melody matches the words. Wow. So it's just like many different nuances. My biggest thing, as I realized, because it's different ways how the inspiration pours out or bubbles up, is to be available. It's because you never know, my song might not come at 3. It might, I could tell it when to come, but sometimes I don't want to release it because I feel it isn't really, it's missing. It's only physical. It's nice, but it has to be fully dressed. So sometimes under pressure you could pull out something, but it was only when I really know, this is the most high. It is not just me flinging out some nice rhymes that I feel like, okay, I could release this,
100%.
And I mean release it, or not yet even to release it to people, let's release it to record.
Wow.
So the most important thing for me is available. Because songs don't tell you when they come in, they don't tell you when they're done.
I like that still. I like that. So when it comes to you as an artist and kind of your inspirations, I mean, you spoke about your parents, but who else inspires you? Because I feel like there's so many influences in your tunes that you're putting out.
It's only when you reflect on it you really realize, because I did have a lot of music around me. My mom, she was also in a choir, and we used to be singing in different languages, Spanish and German and French, and and then we used to have French students playing their zouk love. And I used to love like a lot of nitty-gritty, a lot of Garnet, Silk, a lot of Sade, Tracy Chapman, Boyz II Men, and typical pop people, but not in that kind of like really steep with them, this singer Enya for her harmonies. Juan Luis Guerra, who's a Spanish artist, who's phenomenal. And so just this very music was always around, or like some of the old Trinidadian veterans. I grew up on a lot of that old calypso, Trini calypso in the atmosphere, because my mom is a Trini.
We got your mom, definitely.
And then Yeah. So, and I also got mentioned, Mighty Gabby. We got basically a huge artist here, Mighty Gabby, and he's also a folk artist. So he's like a storyteller, like a griot kind of thing.
Nice.
And so, as a a storyteller, writing beautiful folk songs with a rich, rich voice. Those are the things I would have seen and stuff. But for women with guitar was like my mom with the quattro and my auntie Carol.
Wow, wow. I feel like that in itself is a story. It's just like a whole journey within yourself. It's amazing for 100%. People are commenting, they're sending in some messages saying they like listening to your journey. They like hearing your story. And also somebody has said that you should write a book from now, and then as you get older within your journey, you'll be able to release it.
Very interesting.
That's what they're saying.
So I want to say greetings to everybody who's listening. Is a chat or something you're in?
Yeah, so it's they send it me through Facebook and Instagram and those things that they're locked in.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, greetings to everybody, and thanks so much for the love.
Every time. So, when it comes to music, there is a lot of young people that want to get into this industry, in particular music, producing, those sort of kind of areas. What advice would you give them? Or even playing an instrument, what would you say to them?
For playing an instrument, I would definitely advise, taking up an instrument, regardless of joining the music industry and all that kind of thing. Take up an instrument, and even if that instrument is your voice, because the industry is full of a lot of crosswinds. There's a lot of tug of war and a lot of trends, a lot of games, a lot of muscle moves, arm wrestling, and all of that. But you want to make sure that your relationship with the music, that gift that the Most has given you, is pure at all times. Because if you go into the music industry without that love, without that fervor, and that courage, because that industry could just chip, like how a trees get axed down, you know. So you gotta have strong sustenance that no matter how the wind blows, what happens, the ups and the downs, because there's gonna be ups and downs. It's like surfing, you gotta fall in order to be able to ride the wave with excellence. And you only know that when you done get bombed out a million times. So you gotta have endurance as a person, and if you happen to be a woman, you gotta got endurance and remind yourself who you are before you pelt yourself in it, because it could make you too hard if you go in it. You gotta be real. You just gotta be built to endure.
I hear that.
Find out for the ones who want to be like producers and engineers, like the tech side and stuff. Find out, ask somebody. You might be surprised at somebody who's already in that field, excel in that field. You might feel like they will not reach out to you, but you never know who is willing to just share something. And and find out what's the most basic thing that you need, and just spend your time at it, but make sure that you are strong in yourself, strong in the reason why you're doing it, and plot your path without money as a motivation. It may come, it could come, it can come, and it can multiply. Know the dangers that come with that, which is fame has a tendency to do interesting things, not always, but make sure you know yourself, you know who you are, and step by step by step. And when you're sharing, you obviously be conscious about how many or who you're sharing with while something is still in its creative process. But when you find those people that you can trust, just ask them for their honest opinion, and don't get back to when they share it, especially if they're trying to help you. And I wish you the best.
Wow, what great advice. You know what, I feel like you've really went into depth with that advice. It's really nice to hear. 100%. It's nice for real. So you spoke earlier about a project that you've been put out and that you've put out to the world now, and I want you to tell the listeners about this great project, what it's called, and how we can find it.
Thanks. It's called Kingdom Call, and it's an album of 12 tracks, like acoustic roots and reggae, refreshing reggae. You Played So Blessed, which is actually the lead single from the album. So Kingdom Call is produced by Chris Camus of Reality Shot Records. You can find them online, realityshot.com. This is like an album that I hope is real uplifting, for ones. Because obviously, we're in real life too. So I hope that it's a real wholesome listen as much as you enjoy and pick out your favorites and all that kind of thing, but that the words could be like armor for you too, you know, armor and comfort and refreshment.
Yeah.
Because we all need endurance for life, you know. So yeah, Kingdom Call is 12 beautiful tracks featuring some gifted musicians who have just blessed this project with their talent from, I think it's 5 countries, from Dominica to Croatia and Algeria,
Wow.
France and UK. So yeah, I am really blessed and grateful, you know. It's the fruit of much love, so I'm real grateful. And thank you for inviting me here and for this nice reasoning.
Anytime. And you know, I'm really interested as well to understand where the name came from for this album. I feel like it came from a spiritual place. But you tell us where it came from.
Yeah, you're right. And cause life is spiritual before it's physical. Before anything is physical, it's spiritual. You know, and so yeah, because you could get caught up. You know, people say, "Well, yeah, the Most High and this and God," but you know, sometimes if you just approach life like a flat little physical experience, then you run the risk of missing the spiritual lessons and that spiritual sustenance, which helps us now. And gives us wisdom and discernment if you would ask for it, and also in those times and the times that we've recently gone through that none of us expected, and the times that are to come that we see in the warnings and the signs of the times. So because I'm about reality, I don't want to just bring, you know, just party music or feel good or just to lull you to sleep. A couple of us, myself included, were sleeping to a degree. So it's more music to build up your spirit. And so because we talk in spirit, when we say the Most High, you know, I talk about the creator of everything, you know, the creator, the one who made that sea that I know was just bathing in before I came to speak to you, you know, whose waves we can't understand, that higher than high. So there, I believe, and I feel that we are daily being reminded, the evidence is clear that there's good and there's evil. And so there's that kingdom of light and there's that kingdom of darkness. And so basically it is to call the Most High's children, even those who may not know, but he knows his own. So he's in control of every man and woman's heart. That's not my business. My business to cry out. And no will recognize, pick it up in the spirit, even if it what it is, but they look out and to see, all right, I can't do this on my own. I thought it was doing cool, but something about things I am at myself, you know, and they start to the reality of life and the fact that it is a spiritual thing and that things are getting so hot all around the world. You know, like literally hot. The shaking is here. So when you feel in that evidence that there is the highest, the Most High, then we got to just grow up spiritually so that as we experience and walk out this physical world, we do it with like a spiritual openness, you know, like awareness, you know. So Kingdom Call is that kind of like making us straighten up our backs and not get popped down. The world is designed to go after the Most High's children, so obviously we can get fight down, we can get persecution, we can look like the ostracized and all that kind of stuff, but it's a kingdom call. So just by that name and speaking that name into being, there's a lifting up, the bracing up of the back of the Most High's children in the earth, because we got to inspire and do it of ourselves. We can't even do it with each other. We need the Most High. So kingdom call his kingdom first above all things.
Wow, definitely. Very powerful album. I listened to all the tracks. Definitely powerful, definitely spiritual as well, and I really enjoyed hearing words, you know, actually words of what people like, what you're saying as an artist, rather than sometimes we kind of get too hype. So it's nice to hear words and what somebody's actually saying.
I'm so bad at that.
Don't worry about that.
You know, just speak to me, man. Just explain it. You know, just speak to me. It's a reason. So I'm glad that you like that.
100%.
Yeah, man. It's real life, you know, not just an artist and a DJ. This is a real life reason, and you know, the ones that listening, we gotta live real life. When you log off, you gotta live your real life. So I hope that whatever you hear in this reasoning, it will, you know, iron sharpen iron. We encourage each other beyond just this little listening fraction in your day. You know, I don't know what you gotta do with the rest of the day. So I hope that's something sister to sister that anybody listening in can hear would be like, you know, some ripple through the day of inspiration as we go through the ups and downs of life. You know?
100%. And so, you know, we're coming towards the end of the reasoning, and I wanted to ask you, is there any events that people can check you out that you've got up and coming? Anything on YouTube? Like, just let us know some of the stuff you've got up and coming.
Well, I'm in Barbados at the moment, just quietly kind of thing. So everything for now is online, because once everything is put in place and legit,
Yeah.
I would love to be coming to different places that kind of way, but you know, it's got to be formal, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, exactly. So for now it's online, which
Okay.
would be the most recent thing would be the music video to So Blessed.
Yeah.
That Chris also filmed, that edited. Yeah, so Blessed is on YouTube. It's on Reggaeville as well as Reality Shot Records YouTube, and it's on my YouTube. I just can share my YouTube because it could really use some some presence on it. It's a small channel.
Nice.
It's youtube.com/Indra the artist. But Reggaeville is a much bigger channel. So that's the music videos. And then platforms like Spotify, Amazon, and the other ones I can't remember right now. You could also check out Reality Shot Records on Instagram, and within that's me on same Instagram. It's Joy Within at It's Joy Within, or my blog is itsjoywithin.com.
Yeah.
I just share like a bit my walk, my journey, people I meet, interesting stories, days in the garden, some recipes, and what I do musically. So if you just want to find out what's coming up, when is that time for stage and different places and stuff, I'll be able to share there.
Wow. And you know what, Indra, I always ask every artist that comes on the show if they would be up for singing a little something for the people. Would you be up for that?
Yeah, sure.
I like that. Yeah, whenever you're ready.
Okay. Walk in love and keep a clean heart. Every day's a chance to make a brand new start. Watch that pride that tries to hide. Sometimes stir up the love, people lie. Stay inside of the light. Try to live right, walk by faith, not by sight tonight. When those darker days come, keep shining your light on the secret with them, 'cause you are so blessed. I'm so blessed. Yeah, we're so blessed. Everything is so blessed.
Wow. You know what? The fire. People are loving that. They're sending the fire emoji. They're sending happy faces. They're loving that vibe, definitely.
We're so blessed. Let's count our blessings, That gratitude is stir up more blessings. We don't give the gratitude to get the blessing. Let's remember we're blessed, The world want to pop you down, but when you remember that you're blessed, you'll be taken care of in the storm.
100%. And I wanted to say thank you to you for this interview, for this reasoning. It's been a complete blessing to get to know you as an artist, and I'm sure there's much more to come, and I look forward to seeing your journey and of course speaking with you in the future.
Yeah, thank you. This is so lovely. So thanks very much.
Anytime. And of course, enjoy the sea.
Have a blessed. Oh, sorry.
Enjoy the sea. Enjoy the sun.
Yeah, I will. Come to you too.
More love. Bless up.
Have a blessed rest of your day.
You too. Yeah. Bless. Yes, people, please do go out there. Go and support Indra. Okay, go and check her out. Go and see what she's been up to, what she's been doing. It's definitely a blessing to speak to a great artist and hear the words of her tunes. Okay?